Here are the unsettling love rituals from medieval Europe. Back in the Middle Ages, a time when the world was vastly different, love and courtship were often strange and terrifying. Noble men and women engaged in bizarre practices, pushing the boundaries of romance and sanity. Let's delve into these disturbing customs. Number 1. The practice of courtly love. Courtly love was a peculiar and elaborate form of romantic expression that thrived in the noble courts of medieval Europe. It involved the adoration of a noble lady, often from a distance, with the suitor performing grand gestures and composing eloquent poetry to win her favor. This ritualized form of love was not about physical passion but rather an idealized, almost spiritual connection. Eleanor of Aquitaine, a formidable queen, was a prominent patron of courtly love. Her court became a center for troubadours and poets, who sang of unattainable love and noble devotion, setting a standard for romantic behavior that was more about admiration than consummation. This practice wasn't always innocent. While courtly love songs and poems might seem charming, they often masked more dangerous undercurrents. The idealization of the beloved could lead to obsessive behavior, and the pressure to live up to these romantic ideals sometimes drove men to desperate acts. The concept of courtly love greatly influenced medieval literature and culture, but it also perpetuated unrealistic expectations and sometimes manipulative dynamics in relationships. It's a reminder that even the most beautiful rituals can hide darker truths beneath their surface. Number 2. Troubadour love songs. Troubadours were the rock stars of medieval Europe, traveling from court to court with their songs of love and heartbreak. One of the earliest and most famous troubadours was William IX of Aquitaine. His songs were filled with themes of illicit love and forbidden passion, often celebrating relationships that defied social norms. These troubadours composed in a coded language, full of allegory and metaphor, allowing them to discuss taboo subjects without directly offending the moral sensibilities of their patrons. However, the life of a troubadour was not all romantic. These itinerant musicians often found themselves entangled in dangerous liaisons and political intrigues. Their songs, while praised for their beauty, could stir up jealousy and strife, leading to violent confrontations. The troubadour's role as a cultural icon of love also placed them in precarious positions, as they navigated the fine line between entertainment and scandal. Their stories remind us that the pursuit of art and love can sometimes lead to perilous adventures. Number 3. Love potions and witchcraft. In medieval Europe, the quest for love often led people to desperate measures, including the use of love potions and witchcraft. Alice Kyteler, a wealthy and influential woman in 14th century Ireland, became infamous for her alleged use of these dark arts. Accused of using potions to seduce and poison her husbands, Alice's story is a chilling example of how love could turn deadly. Her trial in 1324 was one of the first recorded witchcraft trials, and though she managed to escape, her maid wasn't so lucky and was executed for sorcery. This case underscores the fear and suspicion surrounding love potions in medieval times. These concoctions, made from herbs, animal parts, and other ingredients, were believed to have the power to enchant or destroy. The line between love and manipulation was perilously thin, and those who dabbled in these potions risked severe punishment. The story of Alice Kyteler highlights the dark side of love in medieval Europe, where the desire for control and power could lead to accusations of witchcraft and death. Number 4. The chastity belt. The chastity belt is one of the most infamous symbols of medieval control over women's sexuality. Crusaders, departing on long campaigns, are said to have locked these metal devices around their wives' waists to ensure their fidelity. Although some historians debate the actual use of chastity belts, the idea alone reflects the deep-seated mistrust and possessiveness that characterized many medieval marriages. This practice symbolized a husband's control over his wife's body, reducing her autonomy and freedom. Despite the gruesome imagery, the chastity belt may be more myth than reality. Historical evidence is sparse, and many supposed medieval chastity belts found in museums are likely Victorian inventions. Yet, the enduring legend of the chastity belt reveals much about the medieval mindset. It speaks to a time when women's fidelity was prized above their personal agency, and extreme measures were justified in the name of honor. The chastity belt remains a chilling reminder of the lengths to which society will go to enforce its moral codes. Number 5. Trial by ordeal. In the harsh world of medieval justice, love and faithfulness were sometimes tested by brutal means. Cunegund of Luxembourg, the wife of Emperor Henry II, famously underwent a trial by ordeal to prove her chastity. Legend has it that she walked barefoot over red-hot plowshares without injury, demonstrating her innocence and fidelity. This trial by ordeal was seen as invoking divine judgment, where God would protect the innocent and reveal the guilty through miraculous means. These trials were terrifying and dangerous. The belief that God would intervene to protect the innocent put immense pressure on individuals, often leading to severe injuries or death. The case of Cunegund of Luxembourg is one of the few positive outcomes in these harrowing tests. Most trials by ordeal ended in tragedy, with the accused suffering horrific pain and humiliation. This practice reveals the extreme lengths to which medieval society would go to resolve questions of love and morality. Number 6. Handfasting. Handfasting was a pragmatic approach to marriage in medieval Scotland, offering couples a trial period of a year and a day to test their compatibility. During this time, the couple's hands were literally fastened together in a public ceremony, symbolizing their commitment to each other. If they chose to stay together after the trial period, their union was considered a legal marriage. This practice provided a way to ensure that marriages, which were often arranged for political or economic reasons, had a chance of success. However, the practice of handfasting also had its darker sides. The trial period could place immense pressure on the couple, with their relationship under constant scrutiny from their community. If the trial period revealed incompatibility, the breakup could be public and humiliating. Additionally, handfasting ceremonies sometimes took place in the context of forced or coerced unions, where one or both parties had little say in the matter. This ritual underscores the precarious balance between love and societal expectations in medieval marriage practices. Number 7. Bridal abduction. Bridal abduction was a troubling practice in medieval Europe, often used to force political alliances or settle disputes. Anne of Kiev, for example, was reportedly abducted by the Prince of Galicia to secure a strategic marriage. This practice involved kidnapping a woman and compelling her to marry her captor, often against her will. Bridal abduction was not only a violation of personal autonomy, but also a method of exerting control and power over women and their families. The consequences of bridal abduction were severe. The abducted women were often subjected to trauma and had little recourse to escape their situation. These forced marriages could lead to lifelong misery and strife, both for the women involved and their families. The practice of bridal abduction highlights the brutal realities of medieval power dynamics, where women were pawns in the games of kings and nobles. It serves as a stark reminder of the dark side of medieval courtship and the extreme measures taken to secure alliances. Number 8. Love letters and tokens. The exchange of love letters and tokens was a romantic yet perilous practice in medieval Europe. The correspondence between Héloïse and Abelard, a teacher and his student, is one of the most famous examples of this ritual. Their secret letters reveal a deep intellectual and emotional bond, discussing philosophy, love, and their personal struggles. Their relationship, however, was fraught with danger and ultimately ended in tragedy when Abelard was castrated and both lovers were forced into religious life. Love letters and tokens were powerful symbols of affection but also carried significant risks. In a time when social and moral codes were strict, such intimate exchanges could lead to scandal, punishment, or worse. The story of Héloïse and Abelard underscores the precarious nature of love in medieval Europe. While their letters have survived as a testament to their enduring love, their fate serves as a warning of the potential consequences of defying societal norms. Number 9. Public declarations of love. Public declarations of love were grand and often dangerous spectacles in medieval Europe. Geoffrey Chaucer's The Knight's Tale provides a vivid depiction of knights publicly declaring their love and competing for the favor of a noble lady. These declarations often involved tournaments or duels, where knights would demonstrate their worthiness through feats of arms. The spectacle of these events reinforced the ideals of chivalry and the romanticization of love and honor. However, these public displays could also lead to violence and tragedy. The intense competition for a lady's favor sometimes resulted in deadly duels and lingering feuds. The pressure to perform and prove oneself in such a public manner could drive men to desperate and reckless actions. While these events were celebrated as noble and heroic, they also revealed the darker side of medieval notions of honor and courtship. where love could quickly turn into rivalry and bloodshed. Number 10. Charms and amulets. In medieval England, the use of love charms and amulets was a common yet controversial practice. These magical items, believed to attract love or ensure fidelity, reflected the era's deep-rooted belief in magic and superstition. Made from various materials like herbs, stones, or engraved metals, these amulets were thought to possess powerful properties. Manuscripts from the period detail numerous love charms and their supposed effects, indicating their widespread use, despite church condemnation. The reliance on love charms and amulets reveals a society grappling with the uncertainties of love and relationships. While some saw these items as harmless tools of affection, others viewed them with suspicion and fear. The church often condemned such practices, seeing them as remnants of paganism and a threat to Christian morality. The use of these charms underscores the tension between traditional beliefs and emerging religious doctrines, as well as the lengths to which people would go to influence matters of the heart. Number 11. Bed trick. The bed trick was a devious and unsettling practice in medieval Europe, involving the substitution of one person for another in the dark to achieve unintended or forced consummation of a marriage. Countess Matilda of Tuscany reportedly used this tactic to secure a politically advantageous marriage, ensuring her husband's commitment through deception. This practice raised complex moral and legal questions, particularly concerning consent and the legitimacy of offspring. The bed trick, while often portrayed in literature and folklore, was a real and disturbing tactic used to manipulate romantic and political outcomes. It highlighted the precarious nature of medieval marriages, where deception and coercion could play significant roles. The moral implications of such practices were profound, challenging contemporary notions of consent and honor. The bed trick remains a stark reminder of the darker aspects of medieval courtship, where love and deceit were often intertwined. Number 12. Love trials. The court of love in medieval France was a unique and enigmatic institution, where noblewomen adjudicated cases of romantic disputes and love contracts. Often associated with Eleanor of Aquitaine, this court supposedly set standards for romantic behavior and resolved conflicts. The court of love ruled on various aspects of love and chivalry, offering a formal venue for addressing matters of the heart. While the existence of formal courts of love is debated among historians, the concept itself is fascinating. It reflects the societal need to regulate and formalize romantic relationships, blending legal and poetic elements. These courts, whether real or literary constructs, underscore the importance of love and honor in medieval society. They also highlight the role of noble women as arbiters of romance, wielding significant influence over the social and moral codes of the time. And that's it from this video. See you in the next one.